Welcome, lore enthusiasts! I'm your host, Terminal Stories, and welcome to Stories of the Scrolls. Today, we will be discovering the story of the War of the Red Diamond. Allow me to take you back in time to the year 99 of the Third Era. In this year, Emperor Pelagius II has passed away. His son Antiochus became emperor. Antiochus is the brother of Potema Septim. Yes, that Potema. Antiochus remained emperor for 13 years. His sister Potema and her son Uriel III were visiting in the imperial court when Antiochus died, in the year 112 of the Third Era. Potema immediately challenged the rule of Antiochus' daughter and heir Kintra in favor of her son, claiming Kintra to be a bastard child. But Potema's claim was ignored by the other council, and she and Uriel returned to the Kingdom of Solitude to prepare for war. This war became known as the War of the Red Diamond. The war started in the year 120 of the Third Era, just 1 year after the coronation of young Empress Kintra, who was only 15 years old at this time. Let's meet the combatants. On one side we have the Kingdoms of Solitude, local lords in Skyrim, and forces from northern Morrowind. These forces are led by Uriel Septim III and Queen Potema Septim of Solitude. On the other side we have the forces from the cities of Ghislain and Lilmoth, the army of the rest of Tamriel, basically, apart from northern Morrowind and Skyrim. These forces are led by Empress Kintra Septim and her uncles Magnus Septim and Sepphoris Septim. At first, Potema and Uriel attacked parts of northern Tamriel, and because they had the support of local lords, the Imperial legions stationed in these regions were overwhelmed and defeated. So it didn't take long before they had a significant part of Skyrim and northern High Rock under their control. Uriel and his forces went east and swept across Skyrim, even reaching and taking control of parts of northern and western Morrowind. Then he started gathering his forces at the border with Cyrodiil, showing no signs of slowing down. He invades Cyrodiil, pushing towards the Imperial city. At this time, Potema and her forces moved west across parts of High Rock, before opening a large-scale offensive on the Loyalist forces in the south, getting all the way to Glenpoint. The Duke of Glenpoint then sends a request to Kintra for reinforcements to the city, afraid the city will fall to Potema's armies. Kintra grants the reinforcements, and to boost morale, she decides to lead the reinforcements herself, leaving her fiancé Lord Modulus in control of the Imperial city. However, the call for reinforcements was a plot hatched by Potema, who, working with the Duke of Glenpoint, forged the call for reinforcements. As Kintra arrived with her army, Potema cleverly had her generals assassinated. Kintra, still wanting a fight, marched on Glenpoint, but was betrayed by the Duke and imprisoned in the castle by Potema. Kintra's force was surrounded and cut down. Kintra is said to have said the following to Potema after she was imprisoned. "So, I'm to be kept here as your hostage? Damn you! Look at me! I am your empress!" Then, in a letter forged by Potema, made to look as if a letter from Kintra was delivered to Lord Modulus, asking for reinforcements to Glenpoint. This letter arrived before Kintra had even arrived in High Rock. Wanting to help his bride-to-be, Lord Modulus set out with a large garrison towards High Rock. He was ambushed in the mountains of Hammerfell by Uriel's armies. This had left the Imperial city underdefended. Uriel used this chance to take this Imperial city and the rest of northern Cyrodiil. Lord Modulus didn't die in Hammerfell. He was forced to retreat, but later he died in battles in Morrowind. With Kintra captured and Uriel crowning himself emperor, he and Potema thought they won. But this was not so. Kintra's uncles Magnus Septim of Lilmoth and Sepphoris Septim of Ghislain after learning of Kendra's capture, set out for war, determined to bring Uriel's rebellion to an end. And they managed to rally most of the south of Tamriel to join them. Magnus and Sephorin opened two simultaneous offensives. Sephoris massed his armies in Hammerfell and attacked southern High Rock, while Magnus raised an Argonian army marching through Morrowind aiming to attack Skyrim. Both offensives were successful at first. Magnus' forces made it all the way into Skyrim between Riften and Windhelm, but the Argonian army was not used to fighting in winter conditions, while the Nordic forces loyal to Uriel were. So Magnus was forced to retreat back south, waiting out the next summer. Sephoris had made good progress in High Rock. Slow progress, but he kept up the offensive. This lasted for several years. The forces in High Rock were in a stalemate, while Magnus attempted to take control of Skyrim, but limited to the summer months, none were hugely successful. In the year 127 of the Third Era, the front started to move. In the years between 121 and 172 of the Third Era, much happened, but almost nothing was documented. We do know that Lord Modulus died defending a fort in Morrowind somewhere, and we know that Kintra died in captivity at 19 years old. After 6 years of war, Uriel managed to open up an offensive, moving forces from Skyrim into Hammerfell, attempting to lure Sephoris out of High Rock, resulting in the Battle of Ichtark. While Uriel fought bravely, his men were outmatched and he was brought to Ghislaine after being captured. It later became clear that Uriel III had been killed by an angry mob in Hammerfell. They actually burned him alive. As a result of the death of Uriel III, many of the allies of Potema turned against her, in favor of the new emperor Sephoris VII. Potema was now commanding the forces in the east of Skyrim battling Magnus, and with Uriel dead, she'd have to defeat Magnus really quickly to avoid a war on two fronts. With a stroke of luck and the help of her top general Lord Vulcan, Potema defeated Magnus' forces, making Magnus retreat to Morrowind. In the following years, all people loyal to Potema turned on her and joined with the loyalist forces of the Empire, and Skyrim was now being invaded on all sides. Then Potema was all alone in solitude. She fought on for a decade. She descended into madness, signing pacts with Daedra and having necromancers resurrect her falling forces during the siege. Instead, her solitude fell, and Queen Potema was killed. That was the story of the War of the Red Diamond. Until you meet again, lore enthusiasts, Talos guide you.